Good day everyone, and welcome back to DepEd TV. I am Teacher Joshua, and I will be your guide in sharpening your skills and enhancing your minds in order to face the challenges in Grade 8 Mathematics. Ready your self-learning module, your paper, and pens with you, and let us have a wonderful day of illustrating rational algebraic expressions. This is Samuel. He is 47 years old, and he has 3 sons, and he is a painter. And he is the fastest painter in this community. Look at this wall. He painted this wall in just 4 hours. Now, what part of the wall is painted by Samuel in 2 hours? Since Samuel painted the wall in 4 hours, we can divide the wall into 4 parts, where each part is painted in an hour. To answer the question of which part is painted in 2 hours, we take 2 parts. And what is 2 parts out of 4 parts? We can write it as a fraction 2/4, or in lowest term, 1/2. Now, what if we are asked to find which part of the wall is painted after X number of hours? Even if X is an unknown number, this represents a part of a whole. So we can show that an X/4 part is painted by Samuel after X hours. This is an example of a rational algebraic expression. A rational algebraic expression is an expression that can be written as a fraction of the form P over Q, where P and Q are polynomials and Q must not be equal to 0. In other words, a rational algebraic expression is an expression whose numerator and denominator are polynomials. Remember that the polynomials do not use a negative fractional exponent. Polynomials also do not have variable in the radical sign. In this exercise, let us determine which of the following is a rational algebraic expression. Is 6 over x minus 3 a rational algebraic expression? Yes, it is. Since 6 is a monomial with a constant, and x minus 3 is a binomial. How about 3x minus the square root of y all over 5? It is not, since the numerator contains variable in the radical sign. Next one, x squared plus 3 all over 4 minus x raised to negative 3. This is also not a rational expression since the denominator is not a polynomial. The variable has a negative exponent. Last example, x plus 3 all over x squared minus 9. This example is a rational expression because both numerator and denominator are polynomials. Like you have been taught in the past, 0 divided by any non-zero number is also 0. But any number divided by 0 is undefined. But take note, 0 divided by 0 is indeterminate. Try it on your calculator and it will have an error. Do you know why can't we divide by 0? Imagine this. We have 12 colored pencils, and we want 4 children to have an equal number of pencils. How many pencils will each child have? The answer is 3. We can show this with 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. This also means that when we multiply 3 and 4, the product is 12. Now, by the same logic, let us say 12 divided by 0 is a number n. Can you find the value of n which will complete the mathematical statement? N times 0 is 12. Remember that any number multiplied to 0 is always 0, meaning that it is impossible for us to define or give a value to n. Hence, dividing by 0 is undefined. Since a zero denominator is not allowed in fractions, we must exclude values that will make the rational expression undefined or meaningless. Let us have the example earlier. 6 over x minus 3. To get the excluded values, we focus on the denominator and let it be equal to 0. Then we solve the unknown value of this equation. X minus 3 is equal to 0. What is the value of x? We can apply the addition property of equality by adding 3 to both sides of the equation. So we will have x minus 3 plus 3 equal to 0 plus 3. Simplifying, we will have an excluded value of x equal to 3. Let's take it up a notch. Next example. Which value or values of x will make 4x minus 2 all over 2x plus 10 undefined? Again, we are just concerned with the denominator. So we will have 2x plus 10 is equal to 0. By simplifying and the addition property of equality, we can have 2x is equal to negative 10. To get the value of x, we now divide both sides by 2. What will we get? We can conclude that the excluded value in the rational expression is negative 5. What if the expression is 7 over x squared minus 16? What value or values will make this undefined? We equate the denominator to 0. X squared minus 16 equals 0. Unlike the previous examples, we cannot simply apply the addition property to solve for x. To answer this example, we need another property of real numbers, which can be shown by this. Suppose that you have two dogs, Ace and Bruno, and a big piece of meat on the table. You left the house for a while, and after returning, you discovered that the meat is gone. What can you concur? If the house is entirely secure, such that no other people can enter it, there are 3 possible scenarios that can explain what happened. 1. Ace is responsible for eating the meat, and Bruno is innocent. 2. Bruno ate the meat, and Ace is innocent. Or 3. Both dogs ate the meat. Just like in this scenario, when we have 2 unknown numbers, A and B, and their product A times B is equal to 0, at least one of them must be 0. We call this the zero product property. Going back, What value or values will make 7 over x squared minus 16 undefined? What we can do is to express the polynomial in its factored form. If you can remember, x squared minus 16 is a special product called the difference of two squares and can be easily factored as the product of x plus 4 and x minus 4. Then by the zero product property, one or both factors are equal to 0. So x plus 4 equals 0 or x minus 4 equals 0. By the addition property of equality, we can say that the values x equal to negative 4 or x equal to 4 will make the rational expression undefined. Now let us have another example. Identify the value or values of n that will make 3n minus 2 all over 9n squared minus 12n plus 4 undefined. First step is to have the denominator equal to 0. 9n squared minus 12n plus 4 is equal to 0. What can you say about the polynomial? It is a perfect square trinomial. Can you give its factored form? The equation will be the square of 3n minus 2 equal to 0. Since the square of a binomial means multiplying the binomial by itself, we can say that by the zero product property, 3n minus 2 is equal to 0. By the addition property and simplifying, we will have 3n equals 2. And lastly, divide both sides by 3. What will be the value of n? The value that will make the rational expression undefined is 2/3. Let us have one last example. For what value or values of n will make the expression negative 6 all over n squared plus n minus 2 undefined? First is to let the expression in the denominator be equal to 0. N squared plus n minus 2 is equal to 0. Then solve the equation by factoring. The polynomial is a general trinomial, so we need to find the correct factors. The equation can be expressed as the quantity of n plus 2 times the quantity of n minus 1 equals 0. What will we do next? Using the zero product property, we can say that n plus 2 equals 0 or n minus 1 equals 0. Then by the addition property of equality, we can further simplify the equations to have the excluded values n equal to negative 2 and n equal to positive 1. And that's it for today. We are finished in illustrating rational algebraic expressions and getting their excluded values. And let us have a recap. Rational algebraic expressions are fractions whose numerator and denominator are polynomials. The denominator of a rational expression is never 0. So there are instances that we exclude values that make the expression undefined. To exclude values, we let the denominator equal to 0 and solve the equation, sometimes by factoring. The zero product property states that if a product of two factors or polynomials is equal to 0, then at least one of the factors is also 0. Now that we have finished the lesson, it is important to evaluate and see what you have learned. Ready your paper and pens and analyze each question carefully. I will give you 5 seconds to answer each item and write the letter that corresponds to the correct answer. Number 1. Which of the following terms is described as the ratio of two polynomial expressions? Is it A, linear algebraic expression, B, linear algebraic equation, C, rational algebraic expression, or D, rational algebraic equation? The correct answer is C, rational algebraic expression. Number 2. In a rational algebraic expression, P over Q, where P and Q are polynomials, the polynomial Q must not be equal to A, -1, B, 0, C, 1, or D, 2. The correct answer is B, 0. Number 3. Which of the following is a rational algebraic expression? Is it A, 3n squared over n, B, 3n over the square root of n, C, 3n raised to 1/2 over n, or D, 3n over n raised to -2? The correct answer is letter A, 3n squared over n. Number 4. For what values of n will make the expression 2 over 4n plus 12 be undefined? Is it A, -12, B, -3, C, +3, or D, +12? The answer is letter B, -3. Number 5. For what values of x will make the rational expression x plus 1 all over x squared minus 6x plus 5 undefined? Is it A, -1 and -5, B, -1 and +5, C, +1 and -5, or D, +1 and +5? The correct answer is D. The excluded values are +1 and +5. Did you get a perfect score in the short seat word? Very good. If not, it is okay to commit mistakes at the start. Learn from your mistakes and keep on polishing your skills with the examples and assessment found on your self-learning modules. Remember that in mathematics, practice makes you better. I hope that you have learned a lot in our episode today. Note that rational algebraic expressions are just fractions. You must focus on patterns you have observed and do not forget to simplify. With hard work and determination, I believe that you can ace any lesson in mathematics. For our next episode, review factoring, because we will use it in simplifying rational algebraic expressions. Remember, math is not only about numbers and operations. It is an exercise for our minds, for us to be critical, logical, and responsible thinkers. Again, this is Teacher Joshua reminding you to keep safe, have a nice day, and see you next time!